Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is CMG TALK and this is Catherine Gallagher. Think about when and who you give the best advice to. It's often said to me when I ask people, what would you give this advice to? They would often say, it's usually when they've had an experience similar. They have learned lessons. They'll pass on the best advice. We often will give the most caring, the most empathic, the most compassionate advice to the people we love the most. True? What do you think? We're often the wisest and have the best advice to give and impart to people, but usually other people. True? It's often the case. It's very interesting when we think about how we find it hard to regulate our own emotions and our own actions. But we're very good at having the most amazing, clear, concise, empathic, compassionate, strong, often even harsh advice to give to another person. Why? Is it because we can see things from a different perspective, with clarity? Maybe there might be objectivity there, but that might not be the case. Because if it is about giving that advice, that wise advice, when we're our own best champion and we're giving the best advice, or we see it as the best, wisest advice, it might be because we're asking or advising someone. It might be unsolicited, but we might be imparting our pearls of wisdom because we know that if someone takes on this advice, it will impact on our lives for the better. There might be intention there that is well intended. The intention is well-meaning. But there might be an agenda too. Well, if you do this, if you take this advice on, it will for sure make things easier on me or us or on our own. Does this ring true? And this advice can be given to a work colleague. It can be a friend, a best friend. It could be a partner. It could be a sibling, a parent to a child. It could be to any dynamic. When I do my result coaching or my clinical work, or even when I'm doing training and coaching in my mental global health trainings, I will ask people, what advice would you give if you were giving the best advice? The best advice. What would you advise, advocate? What pearls of wisdom would you give and why? What's the intention? And if someone said to you, why should I listen to you? Are you prepared to bring your authentic self? Now, you will hear me in my episodes, in my podcast, CMG Talk, This is Me, which is commitment, motivation and growth. You will hear me talk about being authentic. I ask, will the real you stand up, step up? Because I'm all about bringing and being the real you. That's why when I have people coming on and contacting me, connecting with me or attempting to connect with me, and it's not a genuine connection, it's not them, it's a fake profile, or it might even be a scam. I'm not interested. I only do authentic contacts. I get many people coming to me. They might see me connecting or making contact with the genuine real person. Usually because they know me or I know them, or we have mutual connections, and I have ways of authenticating whether these contacts are the real deal. And usually I get the contacts from when I don't respond to "I'm this person." They then say, "I hope you don't mind, but I'm the manager or the agent or the production, or I'm the..." No, you're not. No, you're not. Why is it that people don't bring their authentic self? What do you think? Well, there's lots of reasons, isn't there? Sure, it can be monetized. It can be monetary reasons, for sure, right? There might be scams. There might be fear and intimidation. But there also could be reasons because money is involved. People are looking to make money. I'm not about making money or advocating these kind of schemes where you're actually taking someone else's identity and information. Because the reality is that not only does it annoy someone, it also can be exceptionally offensive, hurtful, and detrimental. But I guess if you're involved in that, you probably don't necessarily care if you're the one that's running it. Let's be real. That's the reality of these situations. The people that can make the difference are the people that provide the platforms and the people that provide the technology. I get many contacts saying, "Hey, we have this ability to allow you to get X amount of connections." I don't want millions of connections from people who are not genuine. I'd rather have a small number of people connecting with me that are genuine connections, and I'm quite happy with that. Rather than having thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of connections of people that are actually not who they say they are. Because if I accept connections that are not real, I then expose people that are genuine to those fake connections. And I don't want to do that. Of course, people say to me, we all are accountable and responsible and have ownership of our actions and whether we accept connections, interact, and whether we accept people coming on and giving us, playing to our ego, the manipulation, the gaslighting, all the different types of unhelpful thinking that we can have and the unhelpful toxic behaviours that we can be exposed to, for sure. But sometimes when we have these interactions, we might be at our lowest, our loneliest, our most vulnerable. As a society, is it not the right thing to do? To not accept, to not connect, and to actually value and validate people being authentic and being genuine for who they are? What do you think?